Go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Thanks, sir.
Commissioner Patterson, would you lead us in invocation, please?
Everyone please stand.
Good to see a good crowd out here tonight. Let's pray. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this day. We want to thank you for the love you've already shown us, Lord, and the love you show us each and every day. Lord, we just pray that as we go into this meeting, that your presence will be felt here, that we will conduct our business in a rightly manner, that we will do the things that will be pleasing to you, Lord. And Lord, as we go through it, Lord, give us as commissioners wisdom and knowledge. Help us to be the commissioners that looks for the right and not be prejudiced in any way. And Lord, just go with us through the rest of this meeting. Thank you, Lord, for our country. Be with our leaders, be with our state, and most of all, Lord, be with our great county of Fannin County, Lord. Thank you for all these things. We ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a good seat. Gentlemen, before we get started, I do need to make an amendment to the ordinance and apologize that it is on such short notice, but it is in regard to the moratorium on the extensive land use. So if you guys are in agreement on that, I will make a motion to add that as number 8 to our agenda, and I'll ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All right.
That's the, what is that?
It's the moratorium on extensive land use.
Gotcha.
Actually due to be up tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, so that brings us to unfinished business. We have the approval of the minutes of the February 13th, 2024 regular scheduled board meeting. Commissioner Searcy, any errors, omissions, and omissions?
No, sir, I looked them over, they look fine.
Commissioner Patrick?
I have none, sir.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve those minutes from February the 13th, 2024 regular meeting, and I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 3, still under unfinished business. Gentlemen, we had tabled a variance request from Philip and Carol Noyes to place a garage 14 feet from the edge of Price Road and 19 feet from the center line. Is anyone here opposed to this variance? Is anyone here for this variance? Okay. And I'll say I went out and took a look at it and also spoke with Mr. Nicholson. What our concerns was, or my concern was, is if they were pulling in directly from the road into the garage. But as you can see on the drawing here, it's actually coming in off of the side road too. Just one corner will be meeting that. So
They won't have to use a lot of fill dirt. That's a big drop off there, but
it is.
they can have a retaining wall. What I heard.
They mentioned about a retaining wall to you. They wasn't there when I went, so.
Yeah.
With that being said, is there any discussion, Commissioner Searcy?
No, sir, it's 14 feet from the,
It is.
I mean, it's
That
on
corner.
yeah.
Mr. Patrick?
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. I will ask for a motion to approve that variance request for Mr. and Ms. Noyes.
I'll make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, getting down to new business. So, once again, we have, for discussion and answer for a variance request from Clark Holdings to build a UTV garage 10 feet from the edge of Riverbend Lane. Does anybody here oppose this ordinance, or oppose this variance request? I'm sorry. Is anybody here for this variance request? Okay. All right, so then once again, looking at this one, in my mind, the concern again was, are they coming right directly off, pulling straight into it or at an angle?
Right.
And once again, I think the drawing shows at an angle. There's a corner that's next to it that had to be there. It is the only place for it that I saw.
Chairman Hensley,
Yes, sir.
I see they're going, they put a UTV.
Mm-hmm.
Is this gonna be just a one car garage or a 1.5? Are they gonna?
It is it's 20 feet wide and
I think
28
it
long.
probably, yeah, it's not that wide. So,
The UTV is like a side-by-side,
yeah,
a
right,
little bit larger than a four-wheeler, but
okay. Well, that,
Was that-
28 by 20 should cover that.
yeah.
The only thing I wanted to know, was there a property line up here?
You know where that property line was?
That I don't.
Okay.
Did you look at it, Keith?
I did not get a chance to get up there. I think Candace had went up there to look at it.
What'd she say?
We haven't had a chance to talk about it. She had a death in the family, so.
If you look to the next to the last page, that's actually the way the for the 3.47 acre lot.
Yeah, I think it is theirs.
Gravel parking in front of the structure.
So that's the 28, it's 15. No, it's 10 right there.
10 feet from the property.
That corner,
Yeah,
okay.
or 10 feet from the edge of Riverbend Lane.
Right.
And that's also a private road in there as well.
Yes. If y'all feel more comfortable about postponing this, I'll go up there and take a good look, get with them and find out exactly what everything is.
I think it'd make me feel better.
So we'll get an idea. Mr. Patrick?
I'm good with it.
All right. Well, that being said, I'll make a motion to table this variance and ask for a second.
A second.
All in favor? All right. Number 5, have board discussion and action on a resolution to reappoint Janie Bearden to the Tax Assessors Board for another 4-year term. Ms. Bearden, you want to do this again? You sure?
I mean, I really appreciate our people that work in there. They're trying to be honest, and that's what I like about it.
Janie, how long you been working for us?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I don't.
you know everything about everything, don't you? You do a great job, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Trish, anything?
No, we should be good, keep on going.
All right. That being said, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution to reappoint Jenny Bearden to the Tax Assessor Board for another 4-year term. And ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Always want to ask you to make sure that you want to do that.
Just one time.
3 times. Thank you. All right, so number 6, we have board discussion action. We have Fannin County Sheriff Dane Kirby and Major Keith Bozen regarding the courthouse camera system upgrade and secure door installation.
Hey,
Sheriff.
I just barely made it. You know, I think we should get the road department guys some shirts to cover while they were out on the highway, because that is the showiest shirt I've seen.
Barney pink, it's the most popular.
What do you think, Jack? I think that looked good. Pink's in.
Yeah, my red, thanks.
And if they got hit wearing that, it'd be their fault.
He left.
It's the pink shirt, it's just the shirt.
Yeah. It up my eyes. So, I think we've got 2 different pieces of business here tonight. The one I'm gonna, kind of get started on here is our jail locks, controls, intercoms, and door hinges. I've been told that y'all were given a packet with some figures in it, a couple of different bids. The major can speak in more detail about all that here when he does. But the other piece of business that we have is some courthouse security upgrades, I think, and I'm gonna let him handle every bit of that. But we need to replace our jail locks on our jail doors over there. They're 20-something years old, they're starting to fail, and we're having trouble getting parts. And it's just becoming a tremendous expense to do it the way we've been doing it. It just don't make sense to us anymore. Those doors over there are so heavy that the hinges that they used on them have diminished, and they've started letting the doors get out of whack. And when they do, those electronic locks will not work anymore. So that's another problem for us too. But luckily, we were able to find a couple of companies that were willing to come up here and give us bids on replacing this stuff. And they're in the business, that's what they do. Not just everybody can do that, we found out. But anyway, the major has put you together a packet with some figures in it. I think he has a preference about which bid that we use. I'll let him speak to that and any questions that y'all might have as well. And he's been the ramrod behind the whole courthouse security thing, so I can't tell you nothing about that.
Gentlemen, the first packet that you have, you'll see that there are two companies that we were able to get in to bid the hinges and the upgrade of the locks. First company we had come in was MTS out of Montgomery, Alabama. Both companies are actually out of Montgomery, Alabama. So the front page of that basically is just an overview of the cost of each company. For the front side will be MTS, on the back side is Willow. That is the company that we would like to use is Willow. You'll notice that it comes at a greater cost, but there's a reason behind it. So as the sheriff described, the hinges are really old, the locks are really old. The locks, I think I've replaced 10 in 15 years. Some of them we've had to replace 2 or 3 times. However, they come about anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 a lock. Now we're looking at somewhere around 50 locks that needs to be replaced. They're 20 years old. When they fail, they take a long time to get. The hinges themselves, when they first built this facility, they didn't use the correct hinge. They used a little bit lighter of a hinge. That way these heavy doors start to sag and keep bending the hinges back in place, which is the only way you can do it. But after bending something so many times, it's not gonna go back. It's just gonna keep bending. The reason we picked Willow, and I'll be real short about it, is most people know that you've got 3 hinges on a door. Willow hinge is one hinge that looks like a piano hinge that's welded to the door and then bolted to the frame. Therefore, it makes it very hard for that hinge to fail or to bend or to move. Comes at a little bit higher of a cost, but you and I will never have to worry about it again. It'll be somebody else's problem in another 20, 25 years, we hope. Secondly, Willow has a specific design. If you were able to look at Willow's quote that's there with you, on a page or 2 back, you'll be able to look at one of the locking mechanisms. Now, most people realize that a lock is inside the door frame. Willow actually has a new system that they're using. It actually protrudes away from the door frame. The lock is away from the door. They use another mechanism to unlock that door. And the biggest thing about Willow is they have what's called a tamper-proof lock. It's not so much tamper-proof, it's got an indicator light on it. For green, the lock is good. If someone tampers with that lock, it flashes red and gives us an audible sound, and we can get right to what they're doing so they don't destroy our locks. It does come at a little bit more of an expense, but we feel the expense, if we do it now, when we put the right things in there, we will have less problems in the near future and hopefully the next 20, 25, 30 years. Very good company, both companies are great. We just happen to think that this other locking system and hinge will be better.
Major, what they tell you on the lock system, what is the life expectancy, for something like, I mean, it's,
Warranty.
yeah.
These are warranty locks. I'd have to go back through each one of them. There is a short warranty on them, but there is a warranty on these locks. And I'd have to go back through their quote. Each one has a different warranty on them. The locks themselves are warranted for a period of time, and then the workmanship as well, at least a year on the workmanship.
But they will maintenance these for you, right?
Well, they won't maintenance these locks. We still have to do the upkeep as far as putting graphite in the doors from time to time. Maintenance comes over and does that quite frequently for us. And there's very little maintenance that really needs to be done on these locks, as long as you get graphite in it and nobody's tampering with these things. And if they do, we actually have a local gentleman that can come in and work on these locks. He's semi-retired, but he can come in and help us with these locks, and has over the last 6, 8 years.
Okay.
So, and he's a certified installer as far as that goes?
Yes, sir, he built the hills for a living.
It looks like the warranty's for a year. They have problems directly related to faulty installation of others, so I just want to make sure whoever installed it's complete.
And that's all these companies do is locks. there's no difference for our doors. Basically, the doors in most of the jails are built the same way, they're steel doors. We will have to actually go in and weld this hinge to the door and then bolt it up to the door frame. And it'll make it very hard for them to be able to bend these things.
Okay. And it'll work with your system without,
No problem.
okay.
Now there's another section to this too, and I guess you'll get to controls and intercoms
Yes, sir.
in a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
But that is the gist of the locking mechanisms and the hinges. I realize it comes at a greater cost of $107,000 more than the other company, but we believe we're getting that better product and it'll last a lot longer. Give it to pay for.
And installations within this
Oh, yes, sir.
18 to 22 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Where do you wanna get the money from?
So
ARPA,
ARPA?
yeah, this is an ARPA request.
Tell us the amount again,
So
total?
the total amount for this upgrade is $346,864 for Willow.
I got you.
That's the total that's everything you've got listed over here.
Just for the door locks and the hinges, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
okay.
And that is, like, in other words, this would be a phase. Like, or is he proposal one, proposal two, and which proposal?
Gentlemen, the reason they did it in proposals, originally we thought we were gonna have to do this in phases. And we tried to keep the proposals under $100,000, and we thought we could get a bunch of companies pretty much to bid this. And as we started finding out, there are not a lot of people that can do this, not a lot of people wanted to do this. We were just happened to find two companies in Alabama that were like right on it. And we called them, they were here.
They come and looked at it?
They came, walked through the facility, several times actually, make sure they were getting the right equipment, spent pretty much a whole day just on this.
Okay.
What's the lead time, did they tell you?
So, Willow, I think on the back page, lead time was 18 to 22 weeks. They will actually manufacture the locks, and the hinges themselves.
Question, can we vote on this for phase, or can we do a month? So the total amount again for, what you're proposing, just bottom line amount?
Bottom line amount, $346,864 on the back page, sir.
What's that?
Any discussion?
No, sir.
I have no questions.
All right. So with that said, I'll make a motion that we approve these proposals, the total amount, $346,864. I think it's easier to call it out that way, and then we can break it down if need be in the phases. But the total amount being $346,864. I'll make a motion that we approve that to get these doors and locks and stuff fixed. Ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And gentlemen, the second packet that you have is, 3 companies quoted this. This is intercoms and controls. So the company, we looked at both, our current company is called Icotech Incorporated. July of last year, we had some intercom problems. The intercom system broke, we couldn't talk to the inmates. They came back in, they were able to fix half of it, but they couldn't fix the entire thing without replacing a lot of different parts. again, it's 20 years old, so we know that things break down. They came and quoted it. Their equipment is very comparable to what we already have. We had MTS, which is the same company that quoted some door locks for us. They came in and looked at it themselves. And then Willow, the same company that did the other hinges, did a quote for us as well. Looking at that, the second page back, if you'll look at the photograph that I included in there, I've circled a control board that's in there, and I couldn't tell you what that thing is called, except for that's the brains of the unit. That piece of equipment there, if it breaks down, and needs to be replaced, it's about $10,000, and takes 6 to 8 months, maybe a year to get this thing rebuilt. So we have to use keys for that long in order to get in and out, which becomes a great hazard for inmates or staff members or anything else. So in looking at these companies, we looked at the MTS quote, and for several reasons. All of the companies did have comparable equipment. However, the current system, what we're talking about is, obviously we're talking to people on an intercom. The other part is the controls. We push a button, it goes through that great big board that we're looking at, and it tells us a relay to open, and it sends that to the lock and opens the lock. MTS gets rid of what we call a server. We have 2 computers that have to log into a server, and then it runs the controls. MTS gets rid of that server. Each system will run independently from the control room or the tower at the same time. So that helps with that. The other thing is these are touch screens. So it gets rid of a mouse and a keypad sitting in front of a computer. And when you've got 3 or 4 different systems, you got keypads and mouses all over the place. You just gotta remember which one you're going to. This is a very simple system. Touch the button, door opens. Touch the light, it turns off or on. The parts for this system, or for this system, can be bought locally. So you can go to any electronic store, buy these parts, and it can be repaired right here with what we have. The other big thing about MTS is they will come in and teach our IT guy, Patrick Cook, where you at? They'll teach Patrick all the electronic things and the computers and everything he needs to know about this system, as well as some of us other guys that might work in the jail to be able to replace components. We can fix it ourselves. For some reason we can't fix it, we can call them, they'll send a tech down here, they will fix the door for us. Or teach us how to fix it, if that's what it takes. So that's a great thing to have from a company. The other companies did not offer the ability to learn how to work on these things.
And that was Willow.
That's MTS in this one.
You're right, but Willow is the one that you said would not come down.
They would not come down and work on the electronics or teach us how to use it. They would send the tech, and we'd probably have to pay a $250 fee for them just to show up, and then so many hours to work on it.
Willow was better on the locks and the hinges, but they came up way short on this intercoms and control system.
Okay.
And before you come up with a question, I'll go ahead and tell you that both of these systems, even though MTS is gonna do the controls and the intercoms, they all work with the same system. The locks and the hinges are totally different. That's mechanical. The electronics going to it will match up with MTS and Willow. Same type of equipment. So we won't have
You've
to
already
worry.
done your
Yes,
homework
sir.
on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the event of a power outage, I think the generator kicks on, this will be hooked up to the generator as well. I mean,
It already
it'll still
is.
be- okay.
Yes, sir. It already is hooked to the generator, so we can still open the doors. And that was the main thing of having that over there is, I think there's some office spaces that don't work, but it don't really matter. We wanna make sure we can get in and out to the inmates, and move our controls and close doors.
Okay.
The total amount of that one.
The total amount of this one is $77,300 for MTS. There's a couple of, the Icotech, the company we currently use, is a little bit cheaper, but more equipment involved with it. And Willow was, they
too, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, if we can get another 25 years of this stuff, that'd be,
Well, my hope is we'll never have to worry about it again. We hope we'll get 25, 30 years out of this equipment. You know, there's software upgrades that you're gonna constantly have. Anytime you have a computer do anything, you're gonna have to have a software upgrade, which usually 5 to 8 years, you may have to have a software upgrade on a computer.
But all this comes with warranty too, right?
Yes, sir, most definitely.
You know, what we're operating with now has lasted 20 years, and I know they cut corners back when they built this place. Probably used the cheapest thing they could find.
Yep.
You know, it's lasted 20 years, so.
Well, you've had to make it last 20-something years.
Well, it pays to know a little bit about, I can tear a lock out, and I can repair it as long as I have the parts to do it. I've had to learn that over the years. Sometimes you have to fool a lock to open, but you can get it done. And you can still operate until you can get something else in place.
Okay.
she can get us up and running if we decide to do that, we should be good to go for it.
It's a long time.
All right, so, any other discussion on this, gentlemen?
No, sir.
I'm good.
Yeah, I need to make sure everything's good. Like they said, I'll make a motion to upgrade the intercom system, at the jail for $77,300. I think that's who you wanna go with, is MTS, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. I will ask for a second on this.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. They can just ride the Getter up here, can't they?
Well, we're hoping
One of
that
them do locks and the other do controls, that's right, Johnny. At least one of them for each.
That's right.
the lead time on this project is only 12 weeks. Could
That'd
be
be
sooner.
good.
So what our hope is, once these are approved, we can contact these companies and let them know that it has been approved, they can get parts on order. Our hope is that MTS can come in and fix the intercom and the control system before Willow gets here to do locks and hinges. That way we've got one company that comes in, fixes that part, they do the next part, and then just mashes together.
Okay.
Gentlemen, the last proposal we have on the table tonight happens to be your courthouse camera system and your door scanners, security scanners. This is a project that's been in the making for quite some time. Commissioner Hensley took office, he took a good look at our system of security in the courthouse, and unfortunately, you know, we use keys for everything. Keys are what was popular. Problem is, if somebody quits, leaves, or loses a key, we don't know where it is, and it would be very, very expensive to rekey this whole place.
Yeah.
What we're looking at is not cheap, but is an alternative to keys, and it makes this facility very secure. The first part I wanted to talk about was camera system. We have a total of 17 cameras in the courthouse right now. Throughout the courthouse, you have hallways, courtrooms, just different areas, especially like in the secure area of the courthouse, back hallways. We have about 6 that are working right now.
Cameras?
Cameras.
Out of 17?
Out of 17. They're, can't remember the year they put those in. I wanna say it was 2010 they put those cameras in, which are not IP cameras, they're cameras. Do you remember what year they put them in?
It's at least 2010, if not earlier than that.
It might have been earlier than that. So, as you know, technology, cell phone you carry on your hip, you buy it one year, the next year it's out, there's something else that's gonna replace it. Well, these cameras are old. They've fallen into disrepair because they're not a IP camera, they're not digital cameras, they're analog. And they are what they are, we have to replace them every time. Every 2 to 3 years at least. And over COVID, these cameras kind of deteriorated, stopped working. So we have to do something if we need those cameras to be able to see what's going on. Can't secure a courthouse without seeing it. My opinion, if we did put cameras in, we'd have to hire a lot more people to be able to walk up and down the hallways to secure. And I don't think that's the answer either. I think having the cameras would be a great thing for us to have. So we did do several companies as far as camera systems and the security lock systems. The lock systems I'm talking about, if anybody's seen the juvenile door over here, just out the door to your left, there's a little box on the wall, you scan a little card, it opens the door, and you can go in. That particular model we wanna get rid of, it's a magnetic lock, when the power goes out, you're there, you ain't getting out. I've had to come here in the middle of the night and let judges out, or secretaries out. I don't think we've had to let the commissioner out yet, but it can happen. It's a fire hazard. If that power goes out and that backup battery that only lasts 10 minutes goes out, you're stuck unless you rip that door off as soon as you get out. I think you might have had to do that one time.
I didn't rip off the hinges, but we got out.
They had to pretty much push that door, pull that door open to get out.
Pretty strong.
It's,
Stronger than a little.
and for a 50 or 60-year-old secretary trying to get out a door, that would be tough. I would not want to be the one that had to say something to somebody else if something happened, fire or emergency, they couldn't
So
get
what
out.
would be the backup to this if the power went out?
So we have, these will all be on the generator, so they'll be wired to the generator.
Okay.
So we won't have to worry about it. There'll be a real quick lapse in power, but the system come right back up, start back working. And the door scanners themselves, each office, for instance, the tag office, tax assessor's office, commissioner's office, land development, and everything on up to the 3rd floor, their main door, their employee door, and their rear door will have one of these scanners on. There's no need to issue a key to an employee anymore. If you fire an employee, within just a matter of minutes, you can revoke the privileges on that card. They can't get in anything, they can't do anything. It keeps people out of the building when they don't need to be here. These locks will open at whatever time that office decides it wants to open. If they want to open at 7:45, those locks will automatically open on the front doors only at that time. Their employee doors will always stay locked. They'll have to use their ID card and scan card to get into that office, or the rear door, they have to use their card to get into that office. And same on the stairwells, same thing. And it keeps us from having to have all these keys and people not turning them in. It's a lot more accountable. So every time somebody scans that, I can go right back to it and tell you how many times they scanned that door, when they were in the building, when they weren't in the building.
So all this is gonna be maintained at the sheriff's department?
This would be maintained at two places. I can log into it from 2 different places. We have a court security room, which is just outside this door here in the secure hallway. There'll be a computer there that can monitor those. And then over at our office, at the sheriff's office, we'll be able to log into it from over there, make new cards, give privileges to people or revoke privileges, as well as I can do it off a phone. So if the commissioner calls and says, hey, we're not gonna be open today, I need you to make sure that, hey, we're not opening the courthouse at 8 o'clock this morning, we're having a delayed opening. I can pick up my phone and tell the lock's not to open till 10 o'clock or 9:45. By that time, security will be here, the doors will automatically lock. They'll automatically lock every day at 5 o'clock, those doors will lock. Only the employees can get into their office space with their card.
And you're gonna issue all these cards to these employees?
It's a lot of cards.
Yeah?
Each office will have a piece of paper that they give to the sheriff's office, the elected official in that office, or whoever the director is of that office, will fill out what abilities they want to have for those personnel. If they just want them to have the front door only and the employee door and not the back door, then that's what they get.
And we'll have record of all this.
It'll all be in the system.
And the commissioner, you have access to it? The chairman?
Probably not. I won't be responsible for nothing.
You're responsible for everything else. I mean, you gotta have it, to me, I just think there needs,
I like it.
I think the chairman needs to have access too, though.
Yeah, he can have a login.
I think that, I'd go along with that.
Certainly.
So we got some quotes here as well.
So we did some quotes. There are three companies I'll go ahead and tell you about. MTS, which you've heard of already, they've already done several quotes for us. Their quote, I'm not even considering looking at, you'll see that their quote was way out of the water.
Good night.
I don't imagine that the equipment that they're proposing to use is equipment that we've used before in the jail. We got rid of it because it was terrible used. So we didn't even look at them. There are two other companies that came in. Blue Ridge Surveillance, we've used in the jail for camera equipment in the past, very good video system. And then Loud Security, they actually did this quote for Warren Pearson. Warren did not have the time to do it, but he did bring in Loud Security, and they also did a quote. Blue Ridge Surveillance has a 4 to 6 week window to order their equipment, could be sooner than that. And Loud Security has about a 3-week lead time for equipment. We looked at both systems. Blue Ridge Surveillance came in just under $100,000, while Loud Security was at almost $130,000. It's closer to 125 and change. Both companies are very compatible to one another. They just use different camera systems and DVRs. The main takeaways that I have on this one is Blue Ridge Surveillance, with this system, everything's cloud-based. So if part of the system goes down or a door scanner doesn't work, they replace that door scanner, which would be under warranty. It's the workmanship and equipment on this is 5 years, free maintenance for life, and all the key fobs I could ever want are free. Which means if I need 300 key fobs, they don't charge me a dime for these things. With Loud Security, you pay $3.50 if we buy them at the time we purchase the system. $10 a card after that. That's expensive. Free maintenance, which is great. I think that's a great thing to have. Because it's a cloud-based system, if something was to break, they replace that part, the cloud reloads that information, the system goes back to working. With this other system, they don't have anything like that. So we have to have a system here. If that computer breaks, now I gotta go get a computer, load the programming, and then hope that I can put all that information back into the system. So it's a lot of work just to put it in there to begin with to start, and then they have to redo it later on.
Well, I see that the total on Blue Ridge is 92, and of course Loud is 125. But if you look down there, the monthly cost for door system is $410 with Blue Ridge, and it's a $4,920 yearly fee.
Yes, sir.
And then at Loud, it's $224.95 monthly. Then it's a $2,700 fee yearly.
Yes, sir. So,
But we're benefiting.
Cards.
Huh?
We looked at the price of the cards
Yeah.
initially, and then the ongoing price of the
yes,
cards.
sir. Exactly, and that's the point I was gonna make, you know, the free maintenance.
Yeah.
If I were to call this gentleman up and say, hey, I got a problem with this door, or my second floor doors aren't working, they come in and fix it.
Okay.
It's their part, they'll fix it. It's $10 a door per month is what it ends up being. And it's pretty much, you look at the card cost, you go back and forth between the two, it's about the same. Except for, like I said, Loud Security's at $125,000. The equipment's all comparable to each other, so I think we're paying a little bit more for Loud for equipment and maybe some labor versus Blue Ridge Surveillance, who's already put cameras in for us. They're right here in Blue Ridge, and
And these are 17 brand new cameras.
oh no, sir, there's a lot more than that.
How many are there?
With the new system, let me flip through this. 17 was the minimum we put in. We have a bunch of blind spots in this facility that we could not see. Get to it. There we go. I'll say it was 38 cameras, and I think it's 40 doors.
That's the Blue Ridge? Blue Ridge?
Blue Ridge, yes. This does not cover.
No, this is
That's
just courthouse.
Just the courthouse. But if you look at all the office spaces you have a front, an employee, and a rear, in every office.
Okay.
And everybody's got a key to go in and out those doors. Now they'll have a card. All they have to do is swipe their card, they're in the door.
Is that including you put cameras out there at the front doors?
So we actually are asking to install 3, 4, 6 cameras on the exterior of this building, where we only have 2 now. They're both on the front door, and they both kind of look at the stairs. We've discovered that that's not really a good view. We're gonna keep one on the front stairs, because if we have a trip and fall or something there, it would be good to have that on film, or if there's an incident. We actually, on the library side of the building, we'll put a camera that will cover from the door to that end of the parking lot, maybe down toward the doctor's office. One on the far side of the building at the commissioner's office on that corner. If you go to the rear corner of the building where we did the cookout, there's a camera there, and then one all the way down by the stairs, where the stairwell is. So anything around this building is covered. The jail covers the rest of the building all the way around the other side.
Okay.
We talked about funding this come out of admin
Admin
costs.
cost, yeah, since it's in the courthouse.
Any other?
No.
I have none.
Your recommendations go with this one on Blue Ridge surveillance?
Yes, sir, I would recommend Blue Ridge surveillance.
Well, that being said, I'll make a motion to go with Blue Ridge surveillance. Total $92,291.49 to be paid out of admin supplies. I'll ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You know, it's just, we always talk about this. It's not a matter of if it will happen, it's a matter of when it starts.
Yes, sir.
This deters something from happening. All means, you know, we just want our people to be safe as well.
I did forget to tell you one thing.
We're sending that vote.
No, this is good, this is a bonus, this is a bonus here. So, in every public space, in every office, tag office, assessor's office, commissioner's office, those cameras will have audio and video. So in the event we have something happen in that space, it's recorded, and then if, if law enforcement gets involved, then you'll have that video and audio evidence, that you'll be able to, use later on, so that's a great thing to have.
I don't think any of us want to hear the audio sometimes.
We'll give you a login, sir.
Listen to this.
Yeah, no, hey, that is one thing I do want the chairman to have. You agree, Mr. Pine?
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Major.
All right, we have, number 7 is board discussion action with Public Works Director Zach Ratcliffe regarding purchase of equipment.
That's a hard show to beat.
Yeah.
Guys, I got it's not a want, it's a need. And, I told Jamie, I said, I begged, I scraped, I tried, I guess I've done a little bit of everything I could get to try to get this piece of equipment down. It was, what it is, we're looking at a Komatsu loader. It's a pretty good size loader. It's a WA-200, it's a, Jamie got to see it the other day finally. Yeah, it's a nice loader. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you've seen. So, that thing listed for $200,000, that's what it listed for. And like I say, I begged, pleaded with him, and I finally got it down to 187, 439, 73. That's, I can't remember the name of that, company that puts this out there for us, but, it's like a contract, it's not actually a government contract, but it's a contract company that bids it out for us. And I actually joined that and, got about 10,000 knocked off by joining it, so. And that could go with any county department that we got, can use that. Sourcewell, that's the name of it, they just got me that.
So how much did you save us?
Well, it's 187, so that was actually around 200,000, so you kind of.
Yay.
Also, it comes with the set of forks that we desperately need to go out there with and pick stuff up with too, so. It's not just a fire tractor, it's the Cadillac of it, so. Actually had a school on it today, I got it, had a Georgia DOT schooling that I got a grant for to get, and, that thing showed up on the day of school, so I got to let them use that in the schools. So we got to demo it, so it's a great machine, can be used a lot.
Nice.
By going through Sourcewell, we didn't have to, I know it's over $100,000.
It does our bid for us. It's a quote, that price, that immediately. You can go on Sourcewell, site, which I have a number for, an access number. You can go in there on Sourcewell and you can see stuff that you might be interested in, and then you find the price right there. It won't be, even with the government contract, Sourcewell's got some of the stuff lower than the government contract. This happened to be one of them.
So they done the bid for it.
Oh, yeah, that's what they do.
Put it in.
Yeah.
So you in good shape now?
For now.
For now?
For a while.
Yeah, for a while. Since next meeting.
I don't know.
No, we're good for a while. Yeah.
And I assume it'll come out the splash?
It will come out of the box, yes.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of give you a little background on this thing too, because, you know, I'm up here on the stuff, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, so. But this thing, most of the equipment that we look at, about most of the time, is 3 years warranty, a couple thousand hours. With this thing, again, pleading, crying, and begging, we got, 5 years, 3,000 hours of warranty with this company. And, with that, it's called a no ranch warranty. For 5 years, we don't touch that thing. They come change the oil in it, they do everything to it, if it breaks down, they come fix it.
Where they out of?
This company's out of Birmingham, Alabama, but the company I got through is Tractor and Equipment Company is what this is.
That's gotta be worth $87,000, I guess, over 5 years.
You would think, after, he said, the only thing I had to put on was an air filter when they come change the oil.
That's not
Is it-
5-year one.
It doesn't have, it doesn't have a monitor on it, so they want to change, so that they can tell how many hours on that thing from the headquarters, so they know how long that thing's running, when they need to do what with it, so.
You have any discussion on this?
I went out and looked at it the other day. Yeah, Zach showed it to me. Good piece of equipment.
I just wonder if Lynn Dawson's got anything to do with this, cause it seems like everything's been bought in Alabama for some reason. That's his thing. I'm good.
All right.
Big squad.
Ms. Sal, I'll ask for a motion to, purchase this piece of equipment for $187,439.73 to be paid for out of SPOS, and I'll ask for that motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I know my guys will really appreciate that. We got another little thing business here we need to talk about.
We're done.
Jamie and I had a little discussion on the sidewalk out front, and, we want to try to bring that up to ADA, specifications. And we got a quote here from Earl Johnson Paving to bring that up to standards, and it's like $26,870. And that's doing it for both. There'll be an extra sidewalk out front, right in the middle of this walkway. And there'll be one off to the side of the library. That'll all be taken care of. Everybody will be in compliance on that.
So we would have another walkway right here in the center, basically.
Yes, sir.
Come up here, that's
It's
88.
shorter on this, actually a shorter walkway.
Yeah.
And there'll be some, what they call mats, the little things that's out front you walk up on, where you can tell where you're at.
Yeah.
And, they'll be fixed where the cars can't get up on the zoo. This one's out here, you make a drive up that one, because it's smooth out with the pavement and wide, so they're suspected it's gotta be so wide so the car can't get in.
You remember that wall over there, somebody drove over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk out here.
I wouldn't lean against that wall too far.
And when can this job be done?
Well, we could, if we get everything together and all our ducks in a row, they can start on Saturday morning.
Okay.
We wanna do
last Saturday for early voting?
This is the last Saturday for voting.
Well, I guess the next
Saturday,
Saturday.
Saturday week,
Okay, next Saturday will be.
get you go through.
Yeah.
What's that, what's the amount on that, John?
26,870.
We can do that, admin spots too.
Cause it's right here.
And I just wanna, I'm not sure if these guys give us or not, the scope of work for the library, that's actually straightening that wall where you had that curvature in it.
Yeah.
You're actually straightening that wall and taking where the, I call it the knuckle meter, where you walk by and then pull you kind of off your knuckles.
Yeah, if you walk down there and look, you know, there's a table in that area down there where there's kind of like a little break here or whatever, but that wall will continue on around to the front of the old courthouse. It's not very far around there, but it will continue on in a smooth transition around through there. We'll take those old, block wall, whatever it is down there that's falling apart, that big concrete wall around through there, just smooth concrete wall.
It'll widen that area up.
Yep, that area will be widened out quite a bit. You seen the statue down there, I guess Statue of Liberty, it'll be up toward the base of it. So, and we'll put the rail back, have the rail put back on, so it'll all be safe to us.
Well, I'm thankful we, you know, if this goes through, it would definitely put us compliant with ADS.
Yes, we definitely do that, yeah.
Gentlemen, any discussion on that?
I have none.
No, sir.
All right. I'll ask for a motion to approve, we'll call it the sidewalk work. I'll ask for a motion to approve that, 26,870 to be paid for out of admin spots. I'll ask for that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. You don't have to be down there writing your name in the concrete.
Oh, yeah, put the fall print on it.
All right, that brings us up to, number 8, which is the addition is the moratorium on the extensive land use. We'll read this off to you, and that way we can go from there. It says, as we all are aware, Fannin County has been diligently working on revisiting its ordinances. Land development is the broadest and most involved ordinance. There have been many hours devoted to the revisions. Revisions have to be made that comply with state law and are appropriate for our area now and in the future. There have been 2 public hearings as required by law. At the conclusion of the last public hearing, it was clear that additional opportunities for input from the community are needed. The next meeting of the Planning Commission will be March 12th at 8 a.m. Additionally, there will be another public hearing on March 12th commencing at 4:30 p.m. before the regularly scheduled meeting. We also hope that there will be a workshop on March the 7th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So please, if you will, write down on the calendars.
March 7th.
Yeah, March 7th, 2024, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here in the jury assembly room. The board could adopt what we have, but it's better to work on this some more. We know we will not make everyone happy. Some want even more restrictions and some less. Preserving the assets that we're blessed to have now and for in the future is our goal. In light of the efforts that have been made and are ongoing, this being said, I'll make a motion that the building and land development moratorium that is scheduled to expire tomorrow be extended through April 10th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. I'll make that motion, but if there's discussion before we do this, if you guys want to discuss it, you're more than welcome to.
We're working on that's gonna help give us time to work more on these ordinances, to make sure we try to get it right.
Right.
So I'm in favor of that.
So I will make that motion, that the building land development moratorium and the schedule to expire tomorrow be extended through April 10th, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. and I will ask for a second.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Rock on, brother.
All right, so that brings us to public commentary. Anybody that would like to come up and speak, please come on up and tell us your name and we'll go from there.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes,
just
sir.
a reminder, you were talking about March the 12th, the next meeting. That's also election day. And I believe they use this room after the polls close.
We'll be finished before the post.
We'll be finished before the polls close. We'll be finished before then, I hope. Anyone else? All right, we'll close public commentary. Gentlemen, that brings us to executive session. I do have a need to go into executive session tonight, sorry. We do have that need, so I will make a motion that we go into executive session. I'll ask for a second.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, gentlemen, I'll make a motion to come out of executive session back into our regular meeting and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. While in executive session, we discussed, real estate, no action taken. But we'll make a motion that we donate 0.021 of an acre, at Queen Road and Medola Road to GDOT for their, I guess their expansion, replacement of the bridge, I guess is how it's. Revamping of the bridge. I'll make a motion for that and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. That being said, I'll ask for a motion that we adjourn.
Motion.
May I make one public comment? It's a thank you. I'd like to thank this board for tabling this whole thing and beginning again with further discussions. And I really commend the chairman for his leadership in coming up with the phrase further discussion, because that's what we need. So thank you very much. This is the first time in my history with the Board of Commissioners that I could actually talk to all three commissioners as a citizen and basically get helpful information and guidance. So thank you very much. And thank you, Sherry. You've been a big part of this shuttle with, I'm the chair of the mountain, was the Fannin Protection Meeting. That was our first order on November 3rd, 2022, when the chairman sat down and commissioned our meeting. And quite frankly, y'all did appoint very good people, and you did appoint a very broad cross-section of what the public was talking about. Basically, we got legal knowledge, we have lending knowledge, we have realtors, we have builders, we have inspectors from the EMC. We are really broadly based, basically as a committee. So I'm very proud of what we've done over the last year and a half and welcome the opportunity for further discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
So I think a motion is made. Ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now remember my umbrella.